what is going on in America. Before I start this story, I just want to drop a couple of facts because what is happening here is a crisis and it's happening rapidly. And I believe when you have these platforms, or you're like me building these platforms for yourself, that it's not just about me telling these stories, that anytime I have the opportunity to educate someone, empower, uplift, I'm going to take the opportunity because you never know what life you're saving or who life you're touching. The fentanyl category of opioids accounted for 67,325 preventable deaths in 2021. And more than 5,000 children and teens have died from overdoses involving fentanyl in the past decade. Fentanyl is a narcotic that can treat severe pain. It's also a controlled substance that has a high risk for addiction and dependence. It can cause respiratory distress and death when taken in high doses or when combined with other substances, especially alcohol or other illicit drugs such as heroin or cocaine. When Antonio Felice sent his one-year-old son, Nicholas Dominici, to daycare on September 15th, never would he have imagined that his son would be subjected to a fentanyl overdose. Nicholas Dominici and 3 of his daycare mates, 2 two-year-old boys and 1 8-month-old little girl, would all be unresponsive after their naps. Daycare operator Gri Mendez would try to wake these children up after their naps, and all the children were unresponsive. And although she was alarmed, instead of her calling 911 immediately, she would call her husband. Her husband would come to the daycare empty-handed and leave with 2 trash bags full. Of what? No one knows, because he has not been seen since he was spotted on surveillance camera that day coming to the daycare and leaving the daycare. So while these children lay in distress, Miss Mendez and her husband gathered his things. And when he would leave and she would eventually call 911, when they would get there, they automatically knew something was wrong with these children. They automatically knew these children were experiencing some type of drug overdose. They would get them out the apartment as quick as they can to the hospital, where they all 4 would be administered Narcan. But unfortunately, 1-year-old Nicholas Dominici would not survive. Upon investigation, officers searched the apartment and they found a kilo of fentanyl in the closet on some play mats that were in very close proximity to where these children were taking their naps at. Miss Mendez's husband's cousin was renting a room out of this daycare. In that room, they would find enough equipment to suggest there was a large drug operation going on. Miss Mendez has stressed over the past week that she had no idea there was drugs in this apartment. She had no idea what was going on. But in the course of this investigation, they have found out that she has deleted over 2,000 messages between her and her husband. While she was being questioned by officers, she was texting her husband to tell him to find a lawyer. Miss Mendez and Carlisto Brito have been charged in the death of Nicholas Dominici, as well as other charges that pertain to the 3 children that survived, as well as federally being charged for being in possession of a controlled narcotic.